Hello students and welcome. Today's lesson is on election and voters' responsibilities. In today's lesson, we will be defining election and we will be discussing the duties and responsibilities of voters to ensure good democratic processes. Now let's start by defining election. Election is a process through which people choose a person or group of people who will represent them, especially in political positions. It is a process in which people vote or choose a person or group of people to hold an official position. There cannot be election without the people who will vote for their preferred candidates. Voters' responsibilities. Voters carry out a number of responsibilities in sustaining democracy. Some of these responsibilities are: 1. To register for election. 2. To come out on the day of the election and be accredited. 3. To vote. 4. To make sure that the results reflect the actual voting. 5. To make sure that the election is free, fair, transparent, and peaceful. And number 6, to secure their vote. Now let's take them one after the other. The first one is registration. This is the first process of an election. Once the election date is announced, it behoves on every voter to go and register for the election. During the registration, the voter's biodata is captured. The biodata is all information about a person, including the person's name, sex, age, date of birth, local government of origin, ward, state of origin, and passport photograph. After the registration, the voter is given evidence of having been registered. For example, is given the registration card. His or her registration card is the power he has to vote. Without the registration card, no one can exercise this democratic power. The next one is to be accredited. Making sure that one is accredited is very important. The accreditation validates the registration card that one has. The accreditation requires the voter's patience and cooperation. Next is to vote. It is at this point that the old or bad government is removed, while a new or better one is installed or retained. Voting entails thumbprinting on the ballot paper and putting the thumbprinted ballot paper in the ballot box. Here, the voter has to be very careful. He must make sure that he thumbprints appropriately. Any ballot paper wrongly thumbprinted is void and thus wasted. This means that the voter has wasted his political rights or power. The next is to ensure that the result reflects the actual voting. The voter or electorate should wait to have his vote counted and have the result of his voting. In essence, the voter has the right of protecting his or her vote. His responsibility is to ensure that his voting right is not abused, tampered with, or destroyed. The next is to ensure that the election is free, fair, transparent, and peaceful. The voter could do this by having the spirit of statesmanship, patriotism, and sportsmanship. The interest of his people and the nation or state should be paramount in his mind. With the spirit of patriotism, he should avoid anything that can mar the election. He should not engage in terrorism and snatching of electoral boxes. The fact is that through election, the people get who would provide them the dividends of democracy. For this reason, the voter has the responsibility of warding off anything that would jeopardize the success of the election. The next is that voters should do the work of security on civilian ground. The voter should try to report to the security agent any person suspected to have come to cause trouble and destabilize the success of the election. Doing this is important because the security agents may be distracted at that time. But if his attention is called to an impending danger, he may act promptly. Summary. Election is the process through which people choose a person or group of people who will represent them, especially in political positions. Voters' responsibilities are the roles they play during the election. That is, the duties they perform, such as registering for election, coming out on the election day to be accredited, voting, ensuring that the results reflect the actual voting, making sure that the election is free, fair, transparent, and peaceful, work as security on civilian ground. Now let's look at this assignment. I'll need you to define election. Discuss the duties and responsibilities of voters to ensure good democratic process.